All right, so how are you?
Not too bad, yourself?
100%. I tell you, it's my first opportunity to be able to congratulate you in person for your successful season.
Thank you.
I did pass you on the platform. You were heading to, I'm assuming you were heading to the Ireland match. We were going to Liverpool Legends versus Newry Legends. And as I say, it was a busy platform. I didn't get the chance to wave you down, but...
No, not a problem. I was hectic on that platform, wasn't it?
It really was. It was a good day out and all for both of us, I think.
It was.
I got to see a few Liverpool Legends, and you went and seen Ireland win a game of football.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often.
Listen, I'm delighted you were able to jump on and say the local boys are harder to get than some of the boys further afield. So tell me, just talk me through it. Obviously, it was both a successful season and an emotional season for your club. Obviously, the loss of John Cochran was intertwined in the success.
Yeah, it was a nice ending to a hard couple of months for the club, year for the club. As I say, losing John was a massive loss to the club and Mid-Ulster football as a whole, I think. The fact that John Harvey is a great ambassador for the game locally.
Absolutely.
But it was a fitting tribute to John. Doing the cup, he brought a lot of heart and soul into the club. I think everybody within the town knows that. But no, it was a nice ending. It was an emotional few weeks. Obviously John's passing, and then the semi-final 6 days later. It was hard for the club to pick themselves up again, but thankfully the boys did and gave him the tribute that he deserved at the end of the season.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. As I say, I did chat to you before the season started. We're sort of in the infancy of the season, and you said big ambitions. And to your credit, league form and cup form, you really finished strong. And I think winning that cup hopefully has set you up well for the season ahead.
Yeah, well, as I said, the first start of the season didn't go as what we maybe expected, but we knew we had a really young team. I think some of the results proved a wee bit of naivety and inexperience, cost them a wee bit. Games were ahead. They end up coming away with draws or defeats. Some what proved to be some big teams. One particular, Dungannon Tigers away, end up finishing second. 2-0 down, come back 3-2. 10 minutes of the game, come away with a draw. Sego away, 2-0 up. Had a 12-minute blip of complete lack of concentration, and again, probably a bit of an experience. Come away losing that game in the end 4-2. But credit to the fellas, they all turned around. They learned a lot from the season. As a very young squad, they turned it around at the end, and they did prove with the cup run and the way they finished the season. Even with what was going on behind the scenes, all the lads stuck together, dug in, and they got what I feel they deserve. As I say, they come through probably the hardest side of the draw they could have, with first game being away at Dungannon Tigers in the cup, and then being away to Sego in the cup. It's not nice to go to first and second finishing in the league. It's always a big ask to come away from them with two results, but me and Ryan knew exactly what the boys were capable of. It was just getting them to believe it themselves and having a wee bit of belief and gaining experience through the league. They knew what it was like to lose games in the last couple of minutes, so they had that short bit of experience at the game. But no, as I said, first half of the league, so it cost us, didn't meet our targets in the league, but all in all, it was a good season. We're happy enough with such a young, inexperienced team. More than happy.
No, absolutely. And say you and Ryan, challenging yourselves at intermediate level. I'm sure every day has been a learning curve for yourselves. So you and the team both grown together.
Yeah, that's it. As I say, it's been a big wake up call to me. There's no going into from junior leagues. You always get the team that's sort of you fancy your chances again. That doesn't happen in intermediate football. It really doesn't. As I say, you know yourself, there's no gimmies in intermediate football. Every team on their day can beat anybody, and I think that proved it was such a roller coaster league. I think for everybody, it was ups and downs and teams you wouldn't expect taking points off teams. But no, it was a big learning experience in intermediate football now this year. Massive learning experience.
Brilliant, and hold you in good stead. I mean, having won the cup again, that sense of achievement. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Seagull win the Alan Wilson Cup the season before?
They did. They won it the year before, so they were going to defend the title, and they were going for the double at the same time. I think they won the league the week before we played them.
Yeah.
The one that Lower Mays might have been 2 weeks, but they just come off the back of that, and they were sore to lose that game. I mean, we were in that game finishing 8th in the league. They had just won the league, and I mean, obviously they fancied the chances at home against Craigavon, but I mean, I don't think anybody would have took us for granted. They knew what we were about. On our day, we could beat anybody. It was just a matter of if the boys turned up.
Absolutely, and written in the stars. Let's say that, written in the stars.
Yeah, well, we had an extra. You could say we had an extra man on the sideline that nobody else had.
Yeah, no, fantastic, and as I say, a fitting tribute to John and to the club.
Yeah.
So your pre-season, you're probably knocking the door in pre-season now. The season's not long finished, and I know the season went long, but I'm sure your preparations are already starting for the season ahead.
Yeah, we actually kick-started there just getting the boys together again there on Saturday. So that's us kick-started first friendly on this Saturday. So we've got the first team, 23s, thirds, 19s, and we're actually putting another development team into Lonsdale. So we're actually going to have technically 4 senior teams this year. So there's a lot of people to get a look at. So get the ball moving early, getting boys in. Hopefully a few new faces come in as well. So no, some people might say starting early, but you're probably looking about 8 weeks on Saturday the season starts.
No, that's the
doesn't
truth.
belong coming in.
That's the truth. But then having that catchment and having 4 senior teams, it gives you a lot of food for thought.
It is. It's maybe a lot of headaches, maybe more so than anything. But no, as I say, it was the work that Rand's done within the club has been it's second to none. He's, from what I can see, what he's built there behind the scenes, it's a great place to be at the minute. It's getting stronger and stronger right throughout the youth, right up.
Yeah.
Every part of the club's thriving. Probably whenever COVID and all that hit, maybe a few teams took a bit of a backstep or slowed down a bit, whereas he hasn't stopped right throughout. He just does not stop. He's my head tortured, probably everybody says tortured, but it's all for the right reasons, and he's trying to push the club in the right direction.
And I'd say that's what all the clubs, that's what you need. There's them guys that sort of take the bull by the horns. They call it, the doers. When the doers start doing, people take notice. There's a whole lot of people can talk about doing stuff, but to get on the ground and do it, sort of, that's where the driving force is. And again, to reference John and the Cochran family as a whole, I mean, they have really led from the front.
Yeah, that's it. I'll say that's the foundation's down for the club, and as I say, it's with the help of the Cochrans, Tony, Dad John, and Rand. Like they've really brought the club. They've got a vision, but like that, they've got a vision, and they're really nothing's going to step in the way. They're pushing that direction, and whatever it takes, it's being done to get it there. And like sometimes, even when I'm talking to Rand, sometimes you forget how young he is. Like he's only 27, maybe 28 at the most. Yeah. And he's such a mature head that he says something and he does it. And no matter what it takes, he'll get it done somewhere or another. He'll get it done.
No, brilliant. And obviously an infectious character that a young man can, maybe take lead of players that are sometimes older than him, and then get to young players to buy into his approach and your approach too, of course.
Yeah.
So these are a formidable team so far. I'll tell you why I referenced Seagull winning the Alan Wilson Cup last year. I mean, following their cup success, it kicked them on to, in their league campaign and then to gain promotion in the intermediate day. So how do you see next season going? Do you see that you have made leaps to compete top 6 and kick on, or what's the?
We're still a very young team. We really want to keep that ethos in there. There'll be a lot of young fellas coming through this year that we're hoping come through and follow on from the footsteps last year. Like that cup final, we had 3 homegrown under-19 players started in that cup final, and 4 in total were in the squad. And that's the ethos of the club, is to bring you through. The under-17s at the minute, they've done the double. They're going to the Foyle Cup. As soon as they've finished with the Foyle Cup, like they're straight in. They're in senior football now. They're in with the big boys, and there's 3 or 4 of them lads there that will be knocking the door first team football. Yeah. But as regards to as a team for the season, it's just improving last year league form. That's it. We're not going to go out and say we're not expecting to be up there, if you know what I mean. Not to play the boys down. They're capable of it. Yeah. But if we can improve in last year, we're happy. As I say, my always goal was that improve year on year. Whenever you stop improving, then that's when you sit back and look at yourself and go, is it the end of the line or whatever? But at the minute, we just improve. The goal is to improve this year. But the club's done big things in the summer there. They're trying to bring it to the next level, a level of professionalism in the club, really. We've brought in a fella, sure a lot of people throughout the town will know him, Christopher McGlone. He's a qualified strength and conditioning coach, nutritionist, and a sports masseuse. So bringing him on board is going to be massive. Massive in pre-season, massive throughout the year, keeping the boys right, giving them the rubs, keeping on top of the fitness. That was probably the big thing that caught us a wee bit surprised at the start of the season, when maybe weren't as fit as other teams, which ultimately cost us in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game, where I think the first half of the season we conceded 70% of our goals in the last 15, 20 minutes. So it's big things, wee things like that we're trying to create a big thing with. So it is, but ultimately it's for the future. It's breathing through. But anything can happen. The boys get the ball rolling. You know yourself. You get the first couple of league games. Anything can happen with them.
100%. I say you're working on the finer detail, and you're instilling that ethos. You know, such a young age in some of players that I've encountered, even myself as a player many moons ago. Strength and conditioning, that additional fitness. You know, it was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and that was it. You know, everybody now is going beyond, over and above diet, nutrition. You know, strength and conditioning coaching. They're specimens, and if you're teaching them at 17, 18, 19, they're going to play the careers are going to be longer. You're going to bear fruit more often. You know, the quality is going to continue.
Yeah, well, that's it. As I said, trying to give these young lads the best opportunity that they can get. You know what I mean? Within anything these lads want, or anything that we think we can give them a wee bit more, give them an edge on the competition, we're going to try and do that. And that's a great thing about Craigavon. Nothing's a problem. If you present it to them, they'll try their best to make it happen for you. Yeah. Within reason. Nothing's ever been a problem to the committee or anybody. They'll go and do it. Me and Ryan, well, credit to Ryan, it's 99.9% of the time it's him coming up with the ideas. I just volley with them or tweak them here and there, but anything that we want or we've come up with, it's been, not a problem. Who do we need to see? It's the big thing is in Craigavon is the youth. Promote the youth through it. And obviously you need your wise heads that have the experience to carry the youth through. Yeah. But this going, and you're going to need 5 or 6 things every year. Everybody's going to need, especially such a big club and so many teams. And if you do want to compete, you're going to need a massive squad of 20, 22 boys that you can call on. But we're not going to turn our back on the youth and go and sign a complete new team. We want to promote the youth and promote the homegrown talent that the guys, that the coaches from GDC up are putting the hard work in. They're giving up their time. So their reward is seeing these boys push into the first team and get silverware.
Absolutely. And you can see that throughout the town. You know, there's the under 17 teams, 19 teams. They're all banging on doors in the local cups, etc. So the talent's out there. You know, the talent is out there and the talent is local.
Yeah, all big time. It's getting kind of scary now, the amount of talent that there is in the town now. When you go to underage matches, as you're saying, they're strength and conditioning. The physique of some of the young fellas now, it's just they're grown men at the age of 15, 16 now. You know what I mean? They're big fellas and they're fit and they're strong. And whenever we were younger, I don't know about you, Richie, but whenever I was younger and I was playing 16, 17, the thing I was interested in a Friday night was getting a drink somewhere. You know what I mean? Young lads now, they're going to bed early, they're getting their water in them, they're eating right. You know what I mean? They're banned into it, and it's proven throughout the town.
That's it, absolutely. As I say, there's the ethos that you're creating. You're buying into the new generation, and the new generation don't want to sit under bridges and drink beer on a Friday night and then go for a kickabout with their mates on a Saturday. The platforms are for them to go and achieve whatever they want. So whether it be soccer or Gaelic or whatever, what's the output at the minute is fantastic. As you say, the talent just in Lurgan alone, Craigavon, Lurgan, except in the surrounding areas, is fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, say season ahead, fighting on all fronts. You have 4 senior teams. So, give us a rundown. Just so your management setup is still yourself and Happy.
We have Kieran Fox, our big Foxy. He's in as a goalkeeping coach. He's helping us on the sideline. He came in sort of last year in around Christmas. He's been a massive help. His knowledge and experience of the game is second to none. He's been there. He's played it at a very high level locally.
Yeah.
Anybody knows him. He's very vocal, maybe too vocal sometimes. And then there's Jetty as well. He's staying on with us this year. Again, wealth of knowledge. He's been about. He's seen the game inside out. That's the first team structure. The 23s then is James Kennedy and Kieran Hadley. They're taking the 23s. The third team is Mickey McConville and Tom Dungeon. They're playing the Lonsdale Division 1. The Lonsdale Division 2 is going to be like a development team to give the young fellas there at under 17 a wee taste of senior football.
Yep.
On a Saturday afternoon, as well as obviously their 17s football in the morning. They'll be mixed in with a few of the older guys as well, give them a wee bit of experience. So it's not going to be a culture shock to them in a couple of years whenever they do step up to senior football.
Absolutely, rumbling with men. Yep.
And then the 19s team is their management's carrying on of James Kennedy and Jamie Armstrong from the 17s. Last year they're carrying their team and management through. But no, as I say, it's big management structure. A lot of personalities, don't get me wrong.
Indeed.
But everybody's pushing in the right direction, which it makes it easy. Everybody's got one vision, one goal, and as I say, it's been instilled in the club, and it's proven this year from the changes were made. Happy made the changes whenever he first took over, and it's proven, like, to bring 4 under-19 players in and get them an Alan Wilson Cup medal, 3 of them to start. It's massive at that age, you know what I mean? It's great for them lads at that age. Some of them are only 17, 18, you know what I mean? It's great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say, if your senior team's playing at the highest level possible, and it gives them the youth somewhere to aspire to, and the more you achieve, the more you aspire to, you'll keep that flow of players coming through from.
Hopefully that's the plan. Hopefully keep them, the conveyor belt, as you say, keep producing, keep developing, keeping them at the club. You know what I mean? It's easy to get distracted by big clubs nowadays. That some of the big clubs have that many teams now that the nitpick, you know what I mean? They take fellas, have a look at them, and some fellas get turned. Don't get me wrong, they get turned. We all can get turned by big names, big clubs, but thankfully we're not too bad at the minute. Lads seem to enjoy the club, and don't get me wrong, with 3 fellas this year that left to go Irish League clubs at underage level, at under 17, under 19, but the 3 of them come back just before Christmas again, you know what I mean? So the way I look at it is we're doing something right.
Absolutely, and
they've went experienced it and come back again.
That's it. You wouldn't begrudge them to go away and try it elsewhere, but
no.
Again, if you're creating that hub and that sort of family environment where they feel they belong and they want to achieve, then the future's going to be bright.
Yeah.
No, fantastic. So pre-season coming up, who's your games lined up?
We start off with Shamrocks from Belfast on Saturday, and then with 2 games each Saturday, then right through to the sort of first week in August. And then the teams then, obviously the 4 teams will break off into their own get their own friendlies after that to settle on their own squads for the start of the season. Few local teams are playing within Mid-Ulster. Who have we got? Oh, went blank. We have Ballyorn. We have Bombridge Town, Derry Herc, think they're mainly the only mid-Ulster teams off the top of my head now. I haven't actually got the pre-season schedule in front of me. They're the local teams that we have coming up. But no, they're all going to be good competitive games. As I say, one of them will be, obviously we'll juggle the squads throughout the two games. It'll obviously be a stronger game versus a not so stronger game, you know what I mean? If that's the right way to put it, over the two games on Saturday. But it's going to be busy, but like that. When you're getting between 40 to 60 down at pre-season training 2 nights a week, it's a lot to handle and get going, but it's great to see at the same time, you know what I mean? More guys are coming down.
It's a headache worth of having, absolutely.
It is, yeah, you know what I mean? But it's not complaining about it, but like that.
No, and I say ultimately the cream will rise to the top, you know, but the boys that want to be there will be there, and they'll continue to train, and you know, the rest will naturally just.
That's it. As you know yourself, you'd always lose a handful throughout pre-season that the club just doesn't suit them, or they want it a wee bit easier somewhere else, or something like that. But no, the lads have been told it's going to be a long, hard pre-season. But if they all stick with it and put the work in, they'll get the rewards once the season starts. They will get the rewards.
Absolutely, and you are an attraction. You know, you're playing intermediate football. You're going to good grounds all over the country. You have a good ground, a good setup yourselves. How do you find, again, transitioning from playing on the artificial grass to playing on the grass? Has it been an issue for you?
It's at times it does. Obviously, depending, like a lot of the intermediate grounds are very well maintained. They're private grounds. They're very well maintained. There is a few that still lack. Don't get me wrong, but the lads don't see it too bad. One game this year in particular, probably Ambassador's Way in Market Hill. It wasn't on Market Hill's 3G pitch. It was on their old pitch.
Yep.
And it was no reflection on Ambassadors. It's a council pitch. They don't own it. But it was, I think both teams struggled with it. But other than that, a lot of the grounds are well looked after. But yeah, there is that wee bit longer grass, ball doesn't move as quick, catches the guys unawares at times, especially the first 10, 15 minutes. But I think eventually 90% of grounds are going to go artificial. I think they're easily maintained. There's very little matches called off for weather unless it's a real bad frost. So I'm all on for artificial pitches. I think a lot of the players now are starting to come to the way of it, where they start to maybe complained a wee bit about it because of sore knees and joints and stuff like that. But I think it's the way forward, personally. I think it's a lot better. It gives everybody football. It doesn't move matches in the morning for kids. Like, I mean, that pitch of ours goes constantly. But it's never, you know what I mean? It's never any issue. It's maintained properly. It's brushed properly. So and you haven't got the issues of a wet night at all cutting up and then having to keep boys off it for a week, 2 weeks to let it settle. So no, I think it's a great way. But no, to get back to the transition, sometimes depending on the service, sometimes it can be hard for the guys, but they adapt. They're, you know what I mean? They're big boys. They're going to have to adapt. You know what I mean? But I think it was more of a shock at the start when they first went to 3G, going from the grass. But I think all grounds now are very well maintained, so there's not that massive difference.
No, fair play. Like I would be an old romantic. I think football should be played on grass, but in a practical thing, as you say, you know, you can have football 7 days a week, you know, all day, every day when you have the 3G surface and lights, and then it generates a hub, but it also generates potentially an income, you know, and you have other teams using it, and you know, and then it buys into, you know, sustainability for the hosting club, of course, and you know, it keeps everything right. But to say the 3G is the future, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but you know, I'm an old schooler and I played football on grass, but it is, as you rightly say, it's going that way, and for the greater good of the game, I think, you know, to give all the kids on the adults the platform and availability to play it, but we'll have to. Particularly in this country when the weather's never.
Yeah, we haven't got the luxury of the warmth. You could get snow tomorrow and you wouldn't even be surprised.
Exactly that. Go out with your shorts and your rain jacket on.
Yeah.
100%. And I think that's an attraction for players, wanting to go and play for Craigavon City and local clubs. They're playing in a good ground and a good facility, second to none. There's Irish league clubs that sometimes don't have facilities just like that. I remember 100 years ago training down in the rugby pitch, training for Portdown Reserves, in absolute gutters.
Yeah.
Times have fairly moved on. And as I
said, well, that's it. Well, as I said, they were the training nights I actually enjoyed. You put a wee bit more in when you were coming home. There was a puddle of water. You wanted to put your mate down in the water. Absolutely.
No, great. Listen, Collie, thanks for jumping on. I just wanted to catch up. I wanted to send my condolences and also to send my congratulations to the achievements of the club last season, and wishes every success for the season ahead.
Thanks very much, Rusty. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll get this podcast released in the next couple of days or so. I was actually chatting with a former colleague of yours earlier, Gavin Haddock, who was named the new Derry.
Yes. I've been just with hectic schedule. I've seen that this morning. I've been meaning to text Gavin, wish him all the best season. Gavin's a good lad. His heart's in the right place.
Absolutely. He was speaking fondly of you during a chat. Actually, when I released the podcast this evening there, but.
Right. No, Richie, just before you go, I want to wish your club, Oxford, all the best. Friday night, isn't it?
Friday night, 24th.
In the Marshall Cup, as I say, it's a big day and it's certainly deserved. Club's coming on leaps and bounds, so hopefully you can bring it home. Hopefully, a good year.
That's it. It's been a good year. I had a little joke on myself. I said there's been more cups in Lurgan and Craigavon this year than you'd find in Ann Summers' shop. So hopefully there'll be another one.
Yeah, hopefully all being well, it'll be the icing on the cake.
Absolutely. As I say, it's been a long season for everybody, and it'll be a short break before we're back at it again.
Yeah. No.
Has your fixtures been released for Intermediate B yet, or your start date?
Not yet. It has been rumoured 27th, but that's been rumoured. I've heard that many dates, and then, as I say, until it's emailed out and set in stone, I don't think you'll hear that many rumours. But fortunately, believe there's an extra two teams in Intermediate B this year. Again, I don't know if that's been rumoured that 4 were coming down and 2 were going up, but I don't know if that's actually been made official yet.
Yeah, I suppose with Ballymakesh going out of Intermediate A, then they have to kind of look for the restructure in some capacity.
Yeah. Well, that's it. As I say, we were finished there the week after Easter, our league, which is really early, and then I think it was a 4-week break before the final. With no games, you're on the bout and you're trying to squeeze boys into under 23s. You're trying to get friendlies at the end of the season when nobody wants to play.
Yeah.
So hopefully now it's a bit better structured. I'm sure Oxford the same. Like, you don't want to be finishing your season, albeit it being a cup final, you don't mind, but ideally you don't want to be finishing your season in the end of June.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean? It's going to be a very fast turnaround.
Yeah, 100%. There'll be 3 games a week, I think, for a while, for a few.
Yeah. It's they need to. I think Ulster might have got the structure a wee bit wrong this year. But then again, with COVID and all that, it was hard to get everything back up and running. You can't take away from it. It's a thankless job that nobody wants to do. But
that's it.
Without them doing it, there would be no football for any of us.
No, that's true. Although I did have a chat with another guy a couple of weeks ago, chatting about how other teams are crafty enough to make it work in their favour. With cup games and league games and stuff. Where it was left up for manipulation because the fixtures weren't sort of set in stone, and it was drip-fed, So
well, you'll always get the smart guys that can find the loopholes.
Exactly.
I just wouldn't be that intelligent to do that.
No, I don't know about that. I think it's just about them being in the game a wee bit longer.
Yeah, they've got the wee bit of added experience.
The dark arts, I call it, the dark arts.
Been around the block once or twice.
Exactly. We're too nice for our own good. Listen, Collie, appreciate it, mate. I'll let you go. It's getting late at night. As I said, thanks for chatting, and wish all of the boys and the first team squad and the management squad and JD, who's been avoiding me ever since I started this. Tell him to contact me when we get a chat.
Get him before he gets married, and then you'll never get him again.
He's getting married?
He's getting married. He is. He's getting married next month.
Jesus, he's nearly 50.
Sorry, August. He's getting married in August.
He's nearly 50. You think he'd have been married by now?
Or you think he'd have more sense by now?
Or that. Listen, take care, pal. Thanks you. Thanks again.
Not a problem, Richie. Thank you.
Chat to you again soon. Good luck.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.